Alright people, this is C7, the HOA Homesteader. And today I'm going in with a buddy from my local association, and we're going to attempt to split the hive, find the queen, destroy her, and be ready to introduce a new queen in about a week or so. So that's what we plan. You guys know my bees are aggressive, so we're suited up, we're ready to do this. I took a couple of extra precautions and we're about to get started. So hang in there. I thank you guys in advance for visiting my channel, and let's get to it. All right, kind of so far so good. Ran to the top box looking around. I purchased 2 new metal queen excluders, so I'm gonna get rid of the plastic ones and start using those today. This video was like originally 1 hour and like 40 minutes long, believe it or not. So that's why it's got a lot of fast forwarding. But I didn't want to cut out the video footage, so I just chose to do the fast forwarding. But as we were going through the top box, it was mostly full of honey. We did finally get to those center frames that showed that there was eggs and larvae in a couple of frames. So we didn't, at this point we didn't know if it was a queen or a land worker or what, but we knew that some eggs had been put up there. Not very many, but there were some. So just mostly honey. What he told me was it looks like I have a honey-bound hive, I believe is the proper terminology. So I was sticking most of the honey in a little white box that he brought along, and then the other hive further off to the right, we started setting that up for the split. All right, as you can see, we're down into the bottom box. The bees are starting to get a little bit more aggressive, but they're nothing like the last 2 or 3 times that I went in. So far so good. Well, the frame that we're going to stick off to the side, that frame was falling apart, so. And it did have brood and eggs on it, but it had a lot of, looked like drone cells, so we just set it off to the side. Also, during the inspection, once we got down into the bottom box, I did have some frames that when the bees built their cone out, they they built the cone away from the frame, so it was like they had tunnels. They was able to go up on underneath it, and they just had it built to the frame at the top, but mostly, one inch or 2 inches from the top. It kind of went away from the frame, and it was underneath it. It was kind of weird. So if you wax your frames, you need to wax the total frames and not just part of it. And that's something that I wasn't clear that I absolutely had to do. So I may experience more of this because I still had to use those frames that I only put a little wax on to leave room for her to lay some eggs, because that box was mostly full of honey also. But we did have enough to put some eggs over into the split. All right, we're almost down to the last 3 frames, and we still have not located the queen. That's the main goal, is to locate and eradicate. So we hope we find her. As you can see, we're down to the last 2 frames, and still searching for that queen. Did not find her, so he started believing she could be underneath the pallets or on the sides or of that box. So he's looking diligently. We went through 30 something frames, and at least in the 2 deep boxes for sure, as best as we could. And we was having trouble finding her, but right about now, he found her. Right, and he's trying to scoop her with the queen catcher without harming other bees, but she eludes him and gets away. We almost had her, and she flew away, folks. But she's in the area. Well, we even decided to search the bushes, the tree line, to see if we can find her, but we didn't have any luck. But when he seen her, it was my original queen, because he could still see the dot that was on the back. He said it was kind of faded, but it was there. So it is my original queen. You know what I found amazing is that the original queen is still there. So that tells me that I never experienced a swarm. So still got my original queen. They never swarmed. And throughout that whole inspection, we did only find one queen cell. You know, there was a lot of drones waiting to be hatched, but only one queen cell. I thought that was interesting enough to share with you guys. Okay, like I said before, we had the queen, but she got away. Too elusive. We're hearing thunder and stuff in the background, and this is Florida, so we're gonna treat it like a split, even though we didn't capture the queen. We're gonna add those queen excluders. Hey, when I come back, one of the hives gonna have eggs and one's not, so we can narrow it down that that's where she is at, and still continue to try this process. But we gotta put this hive back together. While we're putting the frames back in, we're still giving them a once over for the queen. This was one of the frames where they built the cone away from the frame itself. So we just dug it out. We're going to put the frame that had a lot of drone cells into the cooler along with several frames of just honey. So that's why you see us putting some inside the cooler. We're checkerboarding the new frames as we introduce them to the bottom box, so that if she's still around and they want to build it out, she'll have some room to lay eggs. You guys heard me talk about the other precautions. What I did was spray myself down with off. I covered most of the whole suit besides the front of the veil and all my clothing with the off. And then for standby, I had the water hose out there ready to emulate it raining if I had to do that also. So it worked out. I didn't have any thumping off of me at all. So I was happy. Okay, once again, wasn't able to eradicate the queen, but we were successful in splitting the hive. So we'll be going back in there a few days or a week later and see what we got and go on from there. This is very lengthy, so it's going to be a lot of fast forwarding in this video. Hey, I thank you guys for taking the time out to visit me. Don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button and share it too. I know I'm a beginner, but there's other folks like me who want to see beginners and how they get started if they choose to get started too. And for my 2 followers who follow me the most, I thank you guys for always commenting and visiting my channel. With that said, guys, you have been with C7, the HOA Homesteader. And you know the motto is, just because you may live in the HOA doesn't mean that you cannot grow food or take care of bees. Until next time, thanks again.